All right, welcome everyone to this is our only cancer fighting foods course that we're going to do this year. Unless there's a huge demand, we might run it again in the fall. But it's the fourth time I've run it, and I love doing it. There's so much information to share. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself in a minute. But I wanted to introduce my co-cook, and she's actually a real chef. I'm not. I'm a doctor. But do you want to just
Hello, I'm Joanne. This is the third or fourth time I've come here to cook along with Plant Doc.
And I'm going to have Chef Joanne share her story toward the end, which I think you'll all appreciate. And then Wendy, do you want to just say a few housekeeping?
Sure, yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Wendy. I am the program director here at Plant Docs, and it's great to see you all. If just housekeeping, if folks could go on mute, that would be super helpful. If you don't know how to do that, I can mute for you. And if you could change your name on your screen to the name that you're registered with, just so I can take attendance, that would be super helpful. If you don't know how to do that, just hover over your little square and you'll see the three dots. Click on that and you'll see rename and you can type in your name. We do have a super full agenda tonight, so we're going to ask folks if you have questions, type them in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer them in the chat. Anything, if we have time when we get to the end and there are questions for discussion, we can talk about it at the end. But I just want to make sure that we are able to get through all of the information in time. So I think, oh, one more thing. If you to see Sandy and Joanne cook, you'll want to go to speaker view. And then again, in the upper right-hand corner of your tile, press the three dots and you can, or their tile, press the three dots and click pin. And then you'll have the speaker view big on your screen. And if you have any questions, just type them in the chat, like I said about that, and I can help you as well. I think that's it, Sandy.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to share my screen and start this thing. Just give me 1 second. All right. Um, can you see this okay, Wendy?
Yes, sorry, I was on mute. Yep.
Thank you. So this is the first week of 4-week series, Cancer Fighting Foods. Yes, nutrition does matter. We're going to talk about mushrooms, the allium family, and plant-based protein today. A little background about me. I am board certified in pediatrics, obesity medicine, and lifestyle medicine, but my passion is food as medicine. And so that's all I am doing right now. I have a plant-based certificate from eCornell. I also have an undergraduate degree in nutrition. So I've been interested in this for a very long time. I'm a health coach through the IIN and a culinary coach through Harvard's Chef Coaching, co-founder and president of Plant Docs. And that's a nonprofit that this is, offered through. We offer programs to educate people about the power of plant-based nutrition to maintain health and prevent disease through different programming. So I'm going to do a little talk and then we're going to cook. So what I was thinking for anyone who's cooking, and I know most of you are just watching and cooking later, which is great. Whatever works for you is fine. But this is what you should do while I'm talking. Soak your cashews in hot water, like so. Drain and press your tofu. So if you have a fancy tofu press, which I actually didn't have until a couple weeks ago, you can do that. Or like this picture, you can wrap it in a cloth. This is AI picture that it's kind of missing the cloth, but wrap it in a cloth and then put a weight on top of it to squeeze out the extra moisture. So you can let that squeeze while I'm talking. Dice your onion, mince your garlic, and slice your mushrooms. And then when I'm done with the talk, hopefully we'll all be kind of caught up and ready to go. And we can talk a little bit about that then. So just some food for thought. The side effects of eating whole food plant-based nutrition are in addition to maybe the primary reason why people do it is for like lowering LDL. Can you spell? This is the speaker I need to use. Sorry, just readjusting myself. Lowering your LDL, your blood pressure, maybe cancer prevention or preventing cancer reoccurrences, but also, you end up with more energy, sleeping better, clearer skin, and weight loss. So there's a lot of just really positive things about changing your diet besides maybe the primary reason why people do it. It's not a substitution for regular medical care, so let your doctor know if you plan to change your diet. That's important, especially if you're on medication that might be affected by healthy eating. So there's a lot I want to cover today. I'm going to go kind of fast, but I'll just tell you that we're going to send the recording so you can go back and look at the slides for the details if you're interested in doing a deeper dive later. So the food you eat can either be the safest, most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. And so this quote by Anne Wigmore really helps kind of define the whole concept of food as medicine. You are what you eat means that I do it over there. I'm just thinking the sounds are going to interfere right here. I forgot about that. Sorry. I just don't want the chopping noises to be distracting.
No problem.
So we make 80 billion new cells every day. And this concept of you are what you eat to me is about all these new cells that we're making. We can make new cells from new raw materials. So where do we get all this building blocks to make all these 80 billion new cells? It comes from the food that we eat and what it's broken down. And that's why so if you make 80 billion new cells tomorrow, you change your diet tomorrow, it's going to change the outcome of your body and the function of your body. Another way of looking at it, food should be nourishing and life-giving. So I like to think of, whatever I put in my mouth, that has a gift for me. What are the antioxidants and the vitamins and all like positive gifts? It shouldn't be stealing my health, which so much of the processed food in America today with the high sugar, salt, the fried foods, the animal products, animals that are raised in industry, end up stealing our health rather than promoting good health. So how food actually helps to ward off cancer, there's many different levels and angles and approaches how it affects us positively. This is from the MD Anderson Cancer Center graphic. So eating the rainbow brightly colored plants and foods may prevent damaged cells from reproducing, reduce inflammation, regulate hormones, protect and repair DNA, slow cancer cell growth, and strengthen your immune system. So specific, these are my new AI thing. So some of these graphics are kind of silly, but it's impressive what it can do. So I'm just using broccoli as an example of certain foods can prevent normal cells from becoming cancer cells, can slow down the growth of new blood vessels that are required to feed tumors. So if the tumors don't have a blood supply, they can't grow. They can help decrease the spread of cancer cells or metastases, increase the action of NK cells, which stands for natural killer cells. It's part of our immune system that fights off unwanted, like foreign things or cells that are recognized as being damaged. So we produce, like when you eat things that are really healthy, you make this army of NK cells that helps really boost your immune system. And it also promotes apoptosis, which is a fancy word for cancer cell suicide, but literally cancer cells can die when exposed to certain healthy foods. So let's clear up the protein question. So this big muscular guy in the woods, this little guy is asking him, no meat at all? Are you sure you're getting enough protein? And it's a common myth that you need to eat animal muscle protein, from beef and chicken to make more muscle. All the protein you need to build muscle can be found in plant-based foods and with the added health benefits. You need to use your muscles to increase muscle mass. So there's the largest land mammal in the world only eats plants. The gorillas only eat plants. And Mr. Brad Turner also only eats plants. So how much protein do we need a day? We need 0.8 grams per kilogram of weight, about 40 to 50 grams per day. 10 to 25% of all calories should come from protein. It doesn't have to be more than that. Our country's in the middle of this protein craze, which really isn't based in solid science at all. So on a whole food, plant-based diet, counting protein, calories, carbs is not necessary. As long as you're kind of eating according to a plate like this, where half your plate is fruits and vegetables, you're getting whole grains and you're getting legumes and healthy fats, you don't need to count anything. The pros of plant proteins are that you get lots of fiber, antioxidants. They help lower the risk of heart disease, cancer, and inflammation. They're less expensive and they use less water and produce less carbon gases. So they're very good for the planet. The cons are that it's right now it's harder eating out unless you're at a plant-based restaurant. For animal protein, the pros are that you get more protein per ounce and it's a complete protein. The cons are that they're high in saturated fat, cholesterol, they have no fiber or antioxidants, they're more expensive, and they're worse for the planet. So in 2015, the World Health Organization identified red meat and processed meat as carcinogens, and they classified it based on evidence. And I really thought like bacon was going to be extinct. And boy, was I wrong. We're still serving pepperoni pizza to children in schools, which I just don't get. So processed meats include all deli meats, salami, pepperoni, sausage, hot dogs, bacon, and ham. I mean, these things are clearly carcinogenic. And the reasons why animal protein may promote cancer is multifactorial. One is how animals are raised. And this is the kind of slide that you can come back to for more details. But if they're given hormones and antibiotics, the feed that they're fed, how meat is processed, the chemicals and the additives that are added produce carcinogenic compounds, how meat is cooked, the high heat creates new carcinogenic compounds, and then in our body, how we react to meat can produce compounds that can promote cancer cell growth. And animal protein also promotes cardiac disease because it's full of saturated fat and specifically the LDL cholesterol, in addition to certain amino acids that combine to lead to TMAO, which is a compound we make in our liver. And the combination of LDL and TMAO produces plaque formation in our arteries that leads to heart attacks and strokes. So it's much healthier to get your protein sources from plants. And some of the highest, like per ounce, would be seitan, which is a gluten protein that's kind of, if you will, like a fake meat. I love it. So I don't like that word because it sounds bad. But other great sources of protein are legumes, nuts and seeds, potatoes, green veggies, whole grains, nutritional yeast, and even greens. If you're drinking your nutrition, these are two brands, Orgain and Kate Farms. And there's been some, in the past confusion about soy, but if you want to go deeper, especially if you've had a history of breast cancer, I would encourage you to watch this video, which looks at more recent data showing that having soy actually is associated with decreased mortality and breast cancer recurrences. But I know people are still avoiding it because of some misunderstanding years ago. So the joy of soy is that soy foods contain phytoestrogens, which are plant-based estrogens. They're called isoflavones. They're antioxidants. They're really good for you. Research suggests no dangerous effects from eating soy, even in women with breast cancer. And daily soy may also reduce the effects of xenoestrogens, which are environmental hormone disruptors. But avoid just because it's good for you doesn't mean you should take a supplement. You want to get it in the natural whole form. So avoid isoflavone supplements, concentrated forms of soy, overly processed soy, or non-organic soy, because it's pretty contaminated soy products. So what are xenoestrogens? These are harmful toxins that can imitate estrogen and can really be carcinogenic. So, and they're found like in everything. So I just wanted to provide this little list of plastics, especially when heated, nail polish, polish removers, detergents, fabric softeners, anything with fragrances, fumes, and pesticides. So you can look at this list later. So the best sources of soy are fresh soybeans, edamame, or dried soybeans that you cook in soup, miso, dry roasted soybeans. This is a brand that I like that just has edamame and sea salt. That great snack, no oil. You could have tofu or soy-based tempeh, soy milk, but avoid tofu dogs that are highly processed. And you really don't get much soy from soy sauce or soy oil. The benefits of eating beans are that they're low in fat, high in protein. They're heart healthy. They help regulate blood sugar, decrease cancer risk. They're very high in fiber, which helps prevent constipation. Very filling because they're a complex carbohydrate, and they kind of change our gut biome, inexpensive and nutrient rich. So some ideas for having more beans are like hummus, black bean soup, or adding them to salads. The pros of mushrooms, which we're featuring in our dish tonight, are that they're low in calorie and low in fat. They're rich in vitamins and minerals. But my favorite part about mushrooms is their anti-cancer effects, that they can suppress, for example, the aromatase enzyme, which is required to make estrogen. They're anti-inflammatory. They're immune stimulating. This is my favorite one, how they can activate immune cells, and they feed our gut biome. So the different kinds of mushrooms, these are button mushrooms that you can stuff or saute. Bella mushrooms hold up well on skewers. Portobello mushrooms make a great burger or sliced in burritos or fajitas. And then these kinds of mushrooms you find at farmers markets. These are all different colors of oyster mushrooms, and you just chop them up. And we'll show you our pile of mushrooms. We have some oyster mushrooms tonight to show you. Lion's mane mushrooms, don't be afraid of these. They're so good for you. You just chop them up and stir fry them like any other mushroom. Shiitake mushrooms, you can buy fresh or dried. If you buy them dried, you want to rehydrate them in boiling water or broth, and then slice them up and saute them. Shiitake mushrooms are in a family with maitake, kawaratake, and okatake. They're all similar mushrooms from Japan, and they contain certain compounds that they can improve our immune cells, which can help slow tumor growth. And they actually use them in Japanese hospitals as an adjunct with chemotherapy to help attack tumors. And then there's two more mushrooms that are not really culinary mushrooms. They're more medicinal, chaga mushrooms and reishi mushrooms. They have all these beneficial effects, including this immune modulating effect that's so important in fighting cancer and anti-inflammatory. This is from the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer website. So chaga mushrooms grow like this weird thing on a tree that you wouldn't ever think is good for you. Or like whoever thought, oh, let's take that off a tree and chop it up and drink it. But yeah, you can buy chaga mushroom powder or tea. The health benefits of reishi mushrooms, they look like this when they're grown, and like this when they're sliced up. They've been used in Chinese medicine for over 2,000 years. And they also contain compounds that have been shown to stop or slow cancer cell growth and immune stimulating effects, and also may inhibit cancer invasion. So you can buy it like this and just put these dried pieces into tea, or you can buy it levels went from 100 IUs to 46,000 IUs, and then you get all that vitamin D. To garlic to promote cell cancer death in colon cancer, breast cancer, lung cancer, prostate cancer, and leukemia. And they help get rid of toxic substances. And you can enjoy garlic any way from minced, chopped to roasted. And to roast it, you just cut the tops off. You can put a little extra virgin olive oil or leave the oil off, wrap it up in the foil, and bake it at 400 for 35 minutes. And then it just squeezes out like a delicious, mild garlic paste that's delicious. So onions have shown similar effects to garlic as far as their health benefits, and they have different antioxidants that make them so good for you. So you can roast them, grill them, saute them. Shallots are also in the allium family, as are leeks, which you can make delicious soup with or saute. And chives and scallions can be added as toppings to salad. So these all also fall in the prebiotic family, so that's really helpful for feeding your gut. So here's some suggestions on ways to add all of these foods that we talked about into your daily routine, like adding mushroom powder to your morning coffee with soy milk, making a tofu mushroom scramble, making a smoothie and adding silken tofu to it. For lunch, you could enjoy a mushroom burger or put edamame on your salad. And for dinner, any of those mushrooms sauteed can be used as the vegetable portion. And then enjoy seitan, tempeh, or tofu as your protein source. So I'm going to turn me around and come around the island. I'm also going to pin this in. All right, there. So here's me and Chef Joanne. All right. So what we did so far, or what Joanne did so far, was we pressed the tofu using a tofu press and then chopped it up. We've sauteed, I keep saying we, but Joanne did all this, sliced up all these delicious mushrooms. And you can see, like, these were, what kind were in here? Shiitake, some oyster,
some baby Bella.
Even though they were all different kinds, it was one of these kind of farmers market mixes.
The umami mushroom pack.
Yum.
We love umami.
You just chop them all up, just like the white button mushrooms. They're all good for you.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all just gonna saute them together. So, all right. So the first thing we're gonna do is turn on the pan to heat it up. And that's probably, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna shift our camera so you can see our hand. So
there we go. Slide this over.
yeah.
Put a little broth in the pan.
So put a little broth in, and the first step we're gonna do is just saute the mushrooms. The sauce is so good, you don't have to marinate it I'm sorry, the tofu. I said mushrooms. I got mushrooms.
We'll get there though. Yeah.
So we're gonna saute the tofu without anything except veggie broth because the seasoning in the whole dish is so powerful and yummy. Like, it doesn't need anything else. So the other thing you can do, which I have this pot with water, and I'm going to put it on high to cook the pasta. And do you want to show them the pasta?
This is the red lentil rotini by Barilla or Barilla. Um, and it's a high protein pasta, 25 grams of plant protein per serving, which is 2 ounces. Doesn't seem like a lot, and you don't really need a lot because you're
How
going to
many
be eating a lot of, you've got the tofu, you've got the mushrooms. So there's a lot to this dish, and you don't have to really load up on the pasta. I know
much
that's
is
really
it?
common. 2 ounces, 56 grams. So it's not a
Has-
whole lot.
Has how much protein?
25 grams.
Wow.
Yeah.
Actually, that's in 3.5 ounces, the 25 grams.
Oh, sorry. The two,
I was
so what
I
is it,
just wanted to
12 or?
compare it to this. So for 3.5 ounces, it's very high in protein is the point, but I just wanted to share it. This is my new favorite pasta. Um, can everyone see which camera should I use, Wendy? This way? Why is that upside down now? This one?
Yeah, I think it's good if you use the food view. You
This
just
one? Okay.
turn it upside down.
Edamame, it's called Explore Edamame Pasta. And these pastas have only like legumes in them, and they're so good for you and so high in protein.
That one's my favorite out of all of them. It's delicious.
So the other thing is, so what we're going to do, the order is, bringing our water to boil to cook the pasta. And I also with if you're new to like bean pastas, I like to undercook them just a little bit, or because we're gonna add it to the sauce, and you don't want to overcook them because they can fall apart. And then the mushrooms, we're gonna do next, like the onions, the garlic, the mushrooms, and then we're gonna make the sauce, and then it's all gonna combine um, to be yummy, and then have it over the pasta. So it's like the big picture.
And if this starts to dry out, I just add a little bit more broth so that it doesn't start sticking to the pan.
So tofu is an excellent source of protein, and you get the soy benefits, which have anti-cancer benefits. So if in this dish, this is actually pretty high protein because we're using the lentil pasta. You could also, if you wanted to have more whole grain as part of like a complete plate, you could use like a whole wheat pasta for the pasta. But I love the bean pastas too. They're gluten-free for anyone who has a gluten sensitivity.
Get that with this kind of burner that if you tip it, it'll turn it off,
Oh,
which is great, actually.
So the other thing I just want to mention while Joanne's cooking that, and it's on kind of like medium high, is the onions and the garlic. They're both in the allium family, like we talked about. And before you chop them up, they don't like smell that much. They're kind of, I guess I'd say, inert, or my point is when you chop them, you're breaking open the cell walls. And what happens is it becomes kind of like alive. These processes happen where enzymes are released from the open cell walls that activate phytonutrients and different antioxidants that they're kind of stable here, just sitting there. It like has this potential to be food as medicine, but it's when you chop these onions up, and right now as they're sitting in this bowl, that process is happening. That's kind of the food science behind why foods have like a physiological impact on your body, like anti-cancer, or disease fighting properties, immune stimulating properties. It's this food magic. So these are chopped up. We're also going to do the same thing with the garlic. I love pressing them or mashing them over like big pieces because you get more of that magic happening. So I love using a garlic press for the garlic.
Me too.
Makes it easy.
And it's fast. I know that there are, some chefs that would never use a press, but I'm a home chef, so we need convenience sometimes. That helps.
And when you don't use oil, like if you're used to cooking with oil, you'll get like a browning on food that is less common when you're avoiding oil. And the reason we avoid oil, for anyone that's new to plant docs, it's a very concentrated, or the most concentrated form of fat. It's 100% fat. So it has a lot of calories if you're trying to lose weight. It's a little piece stuck on there. Oh, get back in there. It's an easy way to cut out calories, but it's also inflammatory and it promotes heart disease. So, and it's not a whole food. So everything we try to teach at Plant Docs is using whole foods to be your food as medicine. So, you know, olives, pumpkin seeds, walnuts, brown flax seed, chia seeds, those are your healthy fats instead of using an oil from a container, which just makes your cholesterol go up.
You want to love your heart.
Yes. So I think that's probably good.
I think so too. There's a little bit of browning to them, which is what we want. And you don't actually even have to cook tofu to eat it.
Right. So we're going to switch and put our other pan on here and heat it up. And it's like a bigger saute pan. And cooking onions, so many, like this oil thing is just going to come up for anyone new to this. You're so used to like glug, glug, glug with the oil first and then add the onions. You have a couple choices when you're not doing the oil. You can do something called dry saute, which means you just throw them in with nothing, no veggie broth, nothing. And you just leave them. And as they sit there and they start to cook, they release their own juices, and then you can start to move them around the pan.
Mhm.
And you'll get caramelization and browning on the pan, which is another tasty layer to the onions.
Sweetens them.
It sweetens them.
Mhm.
And then if they're sticking too much or the browning is too much, you add a little water or veggie broth and it releases all that caramelization, and it's delicious. So we've already added the veggie broth. We're going to add the onions to start and cook them for a couple of minutes.
And next will be the garlic.
Yeah. So do you want to mince that? Well, or do you want me to mince it while you're?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll let this cook for a minute and then we'll add that.
So maybe I'll put it on a little.
Let this sit for a second. Let them warm up.
Nice.
I'll drop the thyme.
Also, so we're doing 4 garlic cloves, and we've already peeled them. So like everything that comes out of the garlic press or is stuck in the garlic press, I just throw it all in. I don't like throw anything out. And it's good to use the back of the knife when you're scraping so you don't dull your blade. You might have taught me that.
Yeah.
Chef Joanne, there's a question about your shirt. Where'd you get it?
Do you like that? I had to wear the mushroom shirt. It came up in my news feed online, which doesn't surprise me because I was reaching out to a friend of mine about getting fresh mushrooms. He has a mushroom farm. And I'm always looking up recipes. I love mushrooms. And yeah, so I'm not surprised that it showed up. I'm sure my phone was listening. And I just ordered online. I bet you if you even typed in let that shiitake go, that you would probably be able to find it fairly easily.
Yeah, I love it. All right, should we add the garlic?
Yeah.
Just spray that in. Thank you.
And it says 4 cloves, but I know people that really, really enjoy their garlic. So the garlic amount is really can be up to you.
But the garlic is good for you.
Mhm.
And when you cook it, it doesn't have the same intensity as when it's raw.
It's not as sharp. Yeah.
Yeah. If you can, I know some people can't have it, but just leave it out. You don't have to add it, or you could do the garlic powder if you want less intensity. But yeah, smells amazing. I love the smell of cooking onions too, but the combo of the onions plus the garlic is what's next.
Oh,
Mushrooms. Oh yeah. So this recipe is it's called Isa Does It. And that's Isa. She's Isa Chandra Moskowitz. I love this cookbook. It's pretty much a whole food plant-based cookbook. I think she does have oil and but I don't think she uses any, I don't know. I love it. Has great pictures, and I have a lot of favorites in here. You can see all the tags. It's really good. So I like to give people credit that I didn't make up this recipe. And she has, if you got anyone there lives in New York City or visits, she has an amazing restaurant in Brooklyn. Can't think of the
I
name.
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really good.
That's, it makes sense. I have a friend who actually is the one that told me about her books, and
Oh, she's from Brooklyn, but she lives in Omaha. Sorry.
That's a
Maybe
different.
you guys can look up
That's different.
the
Different scenery.
Yeah.
All right. So next, I think we have the mushrooms and the thyme. All right. I'll start this umami blend.
Yum. Sorry.
Yeah. What's really nice is it's going to be really delicious, rich, savory dish, which is great because it's a little rainy and windy outside. It's great for some kind of comfort food. We did extra mushrooms.
Oh yeah, we like double the mushrooms. I just love mushrooms. Hey Siri, set timer for 8 minutes. So
8 minutes starting now.
our water was boiling. I added the lentil pasta.
And while you're stirring, could you just talk a little bit about the difference of charring plant-based foods versus meats?
About charring them?
What do you mean?
Yeah, well, caramelizing and charring, like for example, I know that there's
When you're like the onions, for example, when you're caramelizing, you're actually cooking the sugars out of the food, which is why it has that really nice sweet taste. Not something not at all similar to, when you are charring or cooking, searing meat or anything. It doesn't have the same effect, obviously. And you don't have to do it until you get like a crust. You can do it until like the texture that you prefer or the sweetness. I'm sure we've all seen different kinds of caramelized onions. Some of them are really light. Some are very, very dark. Matter of fact, I think one of my classes on that, I did not get a great grade, but I've gotten a lot better since then. But I love them. I'm gonna add a little more broth.
That's all that I need for this.
And I
So
think the question was, and maybe Sandy, because we've talked about this, I think in the Jumpstart, is the risks in charring meat.
yeah, so when you cook meat, even just cooking it on high temperature, but especially when it turns that black color, it's carcinogenic. But it's the combination of the animal protein with the high heat that causes that. So if you burn like a roasted red pepper, for example, in the oven, that is different. It's because it doesn't have animal protein. So it doesn't make that compound. I still wouldn't want to eat burnt food personally. So when I roast my peppers, I don't make them black. I just get them so that they're blistery, and then I put them in a bag so the peel separates. And I try to avoid black stuff on the grill too. I live with carnivores, so it's a little challenging on our grill because I even think like the meat drippings that drop and then when that burns and then it goes onto my veggies, like I don't want that. So I keep we have a veggie side of the grill and a animal, which anyway, that's got to end soon. I mean,
You just get your own
I'm
grill.
too nice.
You need
Yeah,
a green
get
egg.
your own grill.
Those ceramic ones. I was like, oh, they're so adorable and small.
All right, so that looks good. Let's pour in the wine.
Yes. There we
okay.
go.
Here's
the
the
Apothic
so
Cabernet.
you can leave out wine if you don't want to, but the there's no like because alcohol is not good for cancer. It's not good for anything. Let's face it. But the alcohol burns off. I've Googled this and it's not, it's just the flavor we're looking for. So we're putting in the wine. You can dump it right on everything and we're going to let half of it burn off. We're also going to add the tomato paste. So it calls for, wait, do we wait for that? Pour wine. Yeah, we're going to put it all in now. So tomato paste. And you know how you get a container and then you only need a tablespoon? I just freeze it like this, the rest of it, and then when I need it for another recipe, I add it. And tomato paste is really the best source of lycopene, which has powerful anti-cancer effects. So add tomato paste to everything, why not? And when you cook tomatoes, you get more lycopene than when you eat them raw. So even like pasta sauce has a lot of lycopene in it.
Another, to add to that, you could use an ice cube tray like we used to use before we had ice makers, and that's a tablespoon, just about a tablespoon. So even if you wanted to then you have it frozen and measured, and yeah, you can put it in a baggie once it's frozen.
So it also calls for a tablespoon of soy sauce or aminos. So I buy like low sodium soy sauce, tamari, or you can use liquid aminos, which I'm going to use here, which is a healthier version of soy sauce. Oops, thank you. Oh, on the garlic. And then is the pepper now or later? Pepper. So it also calls for fresh ground pepper to taste. I love pepper, so we'll
Especially in a dish like this.
Yeah, I'll just put a bunch. We can always add more. And what we're looking to is to reduce that wine. So while that's reducing, we're going to put 1.5 cups of veggie broth in I have this high-speed Vitamix, and the 3/4 cups of cashews, they were soaking. I drained them, I rinsed them, and I'm adding them to the veggie broth. And we're going to blend this together to make like a cashew cream. So give me 1 second to do that. That was loud. I know you couldn't hear it, but
Oh, so great.
All right. Do you think it's reduced by half? I'd say
So. I think it's getting pretty close.
Okay.
I'll let it sit for a quick sec.
So, and then we can add the cashew. What else? Did we do everything? It's so easy, doesn't it? It seems like it would be complicated, but
And our pasta's ready.
I did the, I don't think the timer went off.
Oh, okay.
So we're just gonna add this cashew cream to our mushrooms. You know, normally stroganoffs have like sour cream and
Mhm.
butter, and I don't even know what else because I've been making it this way for years. This is gonna give you that same creamy, rich flavor and texture without the fat. Hey, Siri, off. So our alarm just went off for our pasta. Just gonna check it. It feels a little hard, I think, but so
Yeah, I think it's not as soft as as like
I'm gonna let it go another minute.
yeah.
I put it, this is how I do it. I always do it at the end, even like a minute less, check it,
Mhm.
because I don't want to overcook it. Then I'll say, give it another minute until it's perfect.
Yeah, the chickpea pasta, if you cook that too long, it really starts to
Mhm.
kind of disintegrate.
Yeah. So we can add the tofu
Mhm.
back in.
It's ready.
Is it hot?
No.
Okay. Guess you would be
Every
still
last
holding on to it if it were. All right, I'm gonna check it again.
Mhm.
And then-
Smells great. It looks fantastic. I'm excited.
And let's taste it and see where we're at. That's hard. Yeah. So we can, because you could add, like, if you wanted it saltier, you could add a little more aminos. I don't think I usually adjust it, but we'll see. What do you think?
I think it's
Because you can take that pasta, add it to this and just mix it all together. Or you could, put your pasta in the bowl first and then spoon this over like a sauce.
which is great if you're gonna have leftovers.
Yeah, Joanne's point was, if you're not going to eat it all, you might want to keep it separate, because it would probably store better, not
Combined.
yeah, combined. So this is even reducing more. Oops. This is so good, you guys. For everyone out there who's not cooking, you have to make it.
Yeah, soon.
So we have time now. If anyone has questions, I just want to say one other plug. This was I originally started these classes, if anyone's from Rhode Island, for the Gloria Gemma Foundation. They asked me to do a plant-based kind of education and cooking program for breast cancer survivors back in 21. That's how I got into the whole kind of cancer piece of food as medicine. And I read a whole bunch of books, and this was one of my favorites that was written for the lay person. It's very understandable, but it has like pretty pictures, charts, and it goes through all the foods that have been studied, whether they're animal models or human models, but it's not too like sciencey, and it has like practical stuff. Like, this is like this one compound, like what is it about green tea that's anti-cancer? Well, it's this one compound called ECGC or yeah, EGCG. I was both. But then this is the different amounts and the different kinds of teas. So like, if you're going to drink green tea, you might as well drink the one with the highest antioxidant in it. So anyway, I love this book, and we can share.
Can you
It's on
just
our
read
website.
the name and the author, please, so I can type it in the chat?
Yep, Foods to Fight Cancer. And the author is Richard Bellevue. He's Canadian, so it's like French, Beliveau. And actually, Wendy, there's a link. It's on our book, in our Amazon store.
Okay, great.
This is ready.
All right, let's turn it off. Oh, and this is probably ready too. So if anyone has questions, you can come off mute and ask. I'm just going to drain the pasta and plate this.
Is the first book you mentioned, the Isa, is that on the website as well? I forgot the name of that one.
Isa does it?
Wendy will
Yes.
have to check that.
Yeah, I'll
Thank you.
check. But I'm putting the
If
link.
it's not, it should be Wendy. It's a
Okay.
really fun book. Get a big spoon. All right.
I have to take a picture of this.
You're going to eat, right?
Beautiful. Yes.
Okay. So
I brought my appetite.
You should bring it tight. All right. So I'm going to put some. I know Jeff's going to have some too.
Oh,
Is that enough?
oh yeah.
Okay. All right. And then maybe this is the same. Oh, wait, this has slots.
I can use this. Yeah.
Okay. There's this one too.
Yeah, that
Better than
actually
a
makes me a little
spatula.
better.
And then Wendy also, oh yeah, so we have 3 more classes. Next week, we're going to make a green goddess dinner with a green goddess dressing. And, and Joanne, I want you to share your story.
Okay.
Because I think it's.
Yeah. So, what led me to this way of eating? In 2018, I had just turned 40, and I received my black belt in self-defense. I was very strong, really fit, and really excited. And I was diagnosed 6 weeks after that with large B-cell lymphoma. And that was a tumor on my thymus gland. I thought I was having a heart attack, and it was not a heart attack. It was a grapefruit-sized tumor. And I also found out that day that I only had one functioning kidney. So that was really very shocking. I thought the doctor had the wrong patient, reminded her of my name. And while I was in the hospital, my treatment was really intense. And I mean, they all are, but mine was like a week long. And then I'd go home for 2 weeks, and then I'd come back and do it again. And while I was in the hospital, it's extremely boring. And you can only color so many books. And so I started to look up what caused my cancer. And I actually was ignoring the part where it was telling me about red meat. Like it wasn't registering that this causes cancer. And I stopped and I read, and I went down the rabbit hole and was just I was horrified, honestly. I thought I was very healthy and very fit and was doing all the right things. And it was really shocking. And so after my treatment was through, I had for about a year, I still had a lot of aches and pains. I did not transition quickly because I just didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to cook that way. And so in 2020, I thought I was just still dealing with side effects from the chemotherapy. And within a week, after going completely whole food, plant-based, and at first it was a little kind of rocky start. I didn't really know how to, what to make or how to cook this way. I didn't know what to do with tofu. And I would say I noticed changes in less than 2 weeks. I could finally sleep through the night. I was dealing with a lot of insomnia, joint pain. Hot flashes were out of control. It was very, very frustrating. And in 5 months, I lost 24 pounds. I was sleeping through the night, and it absolutely blew my mind. And I just thought, I have to tell everybody about this, everybody from the rooftops. and and I do. I talk a lot about it. I became very passionate about it. I left my job for almost 3 years and did a plant-based culinary program. It's a degree program online, and I learned so much. And I learned how to cook, and I still just was like throwing myself into any kind of whole food plant-based events. That's how I met Dr. Musial. I contacted the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine for resources and became a Building Healthy Communities leader in my area. Starting doing some potlucks and just introducing people to these foods. And people have never heard of tempeh or don't know what to do with it. So it's been a lot of fun. I do now work back in the hospital again in the operating room for 21 years now. I am 7 years cancer free. And I love this. I really enjoy it and I believe in it. And I'm proof that this is like it works. I've never felt better. So
Thank you.
yeah, no
Sure.
problem. Really glad to be here. Anytime.
Yay.
It's fun.
So she's going to join us for the whole program, I think, right?
Mhm.
Yay. Thank you. It's very inspiring. So I hope you guys make this for everyone watching because you can see it was quick to make and it's really delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions before we sign off? Or Wendy, was there anything in the chat or anything else you want to say?
I don't think I missed anything. If I did, feel free to come off of mute, but I tried to keep up with the questions.
I think Sarah has a question.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I haven't tried it yet, but it's here. When
Yeah.
I cooked the tofu, I used an iron pan and it stuck a little for me with the vegetable broth. So what I did is I just put it on parchment and took it out before it got too sticky and popped it in the oven. But maybe
Oh.
tips on that, but I don't know why it did that. Maybe it's not seasoned well enough, but I thought I would share. But for me, putting it in parchment helped.
Oh, that's good. How high was your pan? Was it, because if it's too hot, I think it will stick more than if it's on like medium heat, but you're right, if it should be seasoned really well. Any
Yeah.
other tips for cast iron pans?
Just moving it around, I think is helpful, like off the center of the pan. And you can still probably get like a nice browning on it. But yeah, I wouldn't put the heat up too high.
Maybe just the cast iron pan, it might not be the best pan for tofu because it is tend to be crumbly.
And another option, I mean, you can always bake it and do that while you're on the stovetop
Yeah,
with
why not?
with the rest of it.
Yeah, I like that. That's what you did, right? On the parchment paper. Yeah, perfect. Thank you
Mhm.
for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And we will see you next week. And Wendy will send out the recording. And I'm really excited for this program.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week.
Next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. This was great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Can't wait to make it.
Yay.